A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all. This is your host Vaibhav, and in today's session of automated trading, we will be continuing with our algorithm development using accelerator, decelerator, oscillator. Friday was the first part in which we saw the workings and how we can best utilize this indicator. So we have gone through this brief intro of the indicator as well. In today's session, if the time permits, we will look for some optimization as well once we are done with the sell side setup. Till Friday session, we had constructed the buy side, and today we will complete the sell side for the bare bone structure, and then we will do some testing, and then we will try to see how we can optimize. For that, we can utilize the SMA indicators. We can use a single SMA block or even multiple, and depending on our requirement of where we want the trade to be executed. And also we can utilize the min max. The min max is simple lowest and highest value over a specified period. So let's get started. Before that, we will also be going through this disclaimer, and I would like to remind you that this is a tutorial session. In no way it means that I'm making any advice for trading or any particular setup. These are simply for your knowledge, and you can build or optimize as per your requirement. And no claim is also being made for the profitability or otherwise of any algorithm we will be developing in the station. And of course, you should be doing extensive testing and then live runs on the demo account before you can use the same algorithms on the real live account with real money. Now, getting back to the Friday setup, this is our development which we had done till the Friday session, and here later on I noticed that as a error of omission I had put in last tick bid instead of tick time. So now I have corrected it, and it is last tick time while determining the order validity time, and in tick time we add 36 lakhs ticks and then the time period which is 1, and it means that the order will be valid for 1 hour. So let's take a brief recap of what we have done so far. We did the instrument subscription here, so we are utilizing the euro usd as a default instrument, and then we are utilizing these three accelerator, decelerator, oscillator blocks. One is of zero shift, that means it's the current block, current indicator value, and another is shift 1, that is the last period's value, and then shift 2, that is the period before the last one, that is two historical blocks. Backward we will need to go in time, and then we did the pending order here, and for the pending order we are going to place our buy entry below the current value by 5 pips. So here we have subtracted 5 pips from the current value, the last tick bid, and so we are and here what we have done, we are just trying to make sure that the acceleration is happening there. That's why here this is positive 19, means the current value of the acceleration indicator, and that should be greater than the last period's value. And then negative 14, negative 14 is 2 periods back the value should have been decelerating in the bearish territory, and now this positive 10 is for the last period. That means that the trend has just turned from bearish to bullish, and we are trying to get involved at the initial moment of the reversal in the trend. So similarly, to make the algorithm symmetrical, we will add the sell side in today's setup. So let's get started. We will need three if blocks and one calculation expression block. So we take in from here, and also we will bring in the calculation block. First, we will set up our requirements of the indicator, and then we will add the necessary calculations for determining the cell entry point. So here shift 0, the current value of the accelerator, decelerator, oscillator indicator. Shift, since we are going to cell, we want the bearish value, the negative value, and then that should be lower than the negative value one period back. So here we are. We will put in here and join the dots. Then we want that the last period's value was bearish, so we bring in the shift 1's value, and here we place this at here -10, and we want it to be below 0, so we bring in the value like here, and we are now going to, it should be less, and another if block, and now shift 2 means the candle period before the last period. So here we will take in the positive that should have been in a bullish territory before the trend was going to turn, and then that should be above 0, so we bring in the requirement, and this is our setup. So let's add, it should be less than second input. So here we are doing this. So here the current negative value should be lower than the last period's negative value, and the last period's negative value should be lower than 0, and then the two shift back period's value should be in green territory, that is should be in bullish territory. What it means, so here I will explain on the chart. So here we want the sale to be executed when the value turns from being in the bullish territory. Here the value is in the positive territory, and in these are the value turns in the negative territory, and our trade should be executed in these are after this candle has closed. So we are going to place our trades only at the start of the trend, when the trend turns from bullish to bearish, or from bearish to bullish. So here similarly it was in the bearish territory, then it turns bullish. Here the value, positive value, is greater than 0, and before that one period back the value was in the bearish territory, negative was below 0, so here our trade should be executed. So this is our requirement, and that's how we are going to define the trade setup. Now what we need is we are not looking at the optimization, we are simply trading as per the requirement of our bare bone structure, and we will of course need to do more optimization to make sure that uh, the entry and exit points are optimum. Now we will need to add the sale entry point SC. We have calculated the BE by entry. So what we do is we bring in the last tick bid, or we can utilize ask. So here last tick ask, and in that we will add 5 pips to make sure that default instrument pip size multiplied by 5 pips. So we have defined 5 pips already, while here is BP, and let me see the value. Here it is, the 5 pips. So we utilize these only, and we add it to make it a cell limit order. So last tick is A1 plus A2 default instrument pip size into A3. So we got this calculation done. We will write it as SE cell entry. So here we are. I think something wrong. The variable exists. Let me see what's gone wrong. Let me delete this variable and then we will make it afresh. So here we are. Now we got the variable SE, and I will take it closer to the BE, so it's easier to understand that both these variables are simply there for determining the entry and exit points, and we will join in the flow. Now, so far so good, we have done this, and we need to bring in the pending order, and for that we will go here and we will look for trading blocks, and the pending open is here. We bring in the pending open, we add the SC, and we make it a cell limit as the order will be above the current price. And similarly for buy, we are making buy limit as our order will be below the current price, and then we bring in this order validity time, which is 1 hour, and we put in here. We define the slippage to be of 2 pips. Since this is a bare bone structure, we are not making any changes in the other parameters like the default stop loss, default take profit. Let's see how good our algorithm is working. So that's what we are concerned right now, and the positive should have been greater, so we join in here, and that's it. Let me just take a review of our development, and I think we are good to go. We can export this file in the Java format to our JForex platform. I am going to use the demo account. There we will do the test runs. It looks all good to me. We will see if we can compile and then do the test run. So let's save the file, save the draft as if Feb 21st, and then we export it in the Java format. Okay. This is the folder. Here we are going to save, and now we go to the demo account and we bring in, this was old version, so I will remove it and we will bring in the new version. So here is our new version, the Feb 21st Java. So this is the Java file here. Our code is of around 650 lines, and now we will compile it. Before doing any test run, you need to compile the code. That means we are simply making it machine readable, and compilation is successful. Here you can see the notification as well, and once the compilation is successful, we can do the testing. So here we are not going for extensive testing. We will simply do the test for last week and see if trades are getting executed as per our requirement or not. So let's do that. And I think last week, yeah, okay, it should be completed quick enough. But when our algorithm gets heavy, we won't be able to do the test for 1 week. Then we will have to shorten the time, and we won't be wasting much of time on the test run. For the day, as the algorithm is kind of lightweight, I hope the test run will be completed within a minute or so. So let's do the test run for whole week. So here is our algorithm's results, and the algorithm has done as per our requirement. Here you can see that total order placed were 9. Of that, 3 orders were open. That means here you can see. So on 9 occasions, our requirement of change in the underlying momentum was fulfilled. So on 9 occasions, the algorithm placed the order. Here you can count some of the occasions here when the momentum shifted from bearish to bullish and from bullish to bearish. And not every time the order got executed, as we were placing the order below 5 pips for the buy time and for the buy side, and when we wanted to sell, we were placing the order below above the current value by 5 pips. So because of that, only thrice our orders got executed, and in that uh, once the position closed in profit, once the position closed in loss, and on another occasion the position was open when the testing closed. So this is it, and here we will compare this chart to our this I think here only we can add the indicator to see that trading is happening as per our requirement. AC2, accelerator, decelerator, oscillator, and we will add it. So let's see now. I will increase the zoom so that values are clearly visible to you as well. So here we are. Here you can see that when this trade got executed here, the short sell, the trend has turned from bullish to bearish, and this trade is getting executed on the time after 14 GMT, and on the 17th of February in the hour of 14 GMT, the trade was executed here, and let me see, our requirement was fulfilled. As you can see that prior candle, prior value of the accelerator decelerator oscillator was in the bearish territory, and shift 2 period back, that is the hour before the last candle period, here it was in the bullish territory. So so far so good, our algorithm is doing the trade as per our requirement. And here also you can notice that when this order was placed, here also the momentum was shifting from bullish to bearish, and it is also as per our requirement. And here also when this order is getting placed, the momentum is shifting from bullish to bearish, and these are initial hours only. So the algorithm is doing the trading as per our requirement. But now coming to the optimization, you can notice that here this is good that it has happened after due consolidation. But if we take a look on this chart on this 19th of February, we can see that there was already a good amount of fall of around 50 pips. We had already made profit, and it was in a bit of oversold territory. So I don't think now in the hindsight we can say that maybe it was too low to go for a fresh short sell position. And for similar trading setup, when we feel that when already substantial fall has happened, when the deviation is already there, we shouldn't be making fresh entry. So for such a scenario, what we can do is we bring in some additional indicators and then try to see how good, how best we can optimize the setup. So we will try to do that. Let's reduce the zoom so that we can easily add the indicators here, and again go back on the chart. We will simply stick with this chart, and we will bit of may enlarge it so that it's easier for us to make sense of the charting. And we will add SMA and indicator SMA momentum SMA. I think no, we will need to pick it up from recent indicator. Yeah, recent indicators. SMA is here. There is a 200 SMA, and 200 SMA is kind of too far. We make it 50, and we get it like this. And I will increase the width so that it's better visible. So here, I hope the visibility is better now. So you can notice that when this trade happened, the price had already consolidated for a good amount of time, and then it was pretty close to the last 2 days average value, but not so much this time around. Here you can notice that the price was significantly away from the SMS value, which was almost 20 to 30 pips away from the current value. And then what it did, it came back closer to SMA, and then again went down. And here it is above SMA. It has been trending in a different direction now, and I think if we were to use the SMA as a directional indicator, then you can get a sense that the momentum has now shifted from being bearish to bullish on the larger time frame. So in such a sense, we can utilize this SMA 50 as our immediate marker. If the SMA is falling, or if the price action is happening on the lower side of the SMA, we can utilize this to define the entry point. And what we will need is we will need to do some calculations. We will need to define that the momentum is on the bearish side or on the bullish side, and for that we will what we can do is either we can simply compare the SMA's current value to the SMA's prior values, and maybe we can utilize a structure like 5 to 6 shifts back. We see what was the SMA's value and the SMA is falling, then we can say that the momentum is in the bearish territory, and if the SMA is rising, then we can say that the momentum is in the bullish territory. That is one way to go way around this thing. Or you can even add in another SMA of say 200 hours, and then see the crossover. If the crossover is in the bullish momentum, then you can say that the trend is bullish, and if the crossover, that is 50 SMA crossing below 200 SMA, that will mean the momentum is now slowly shifting to the bearish side. So both ways that can be done, and then what we will need is we will also need to do some calculation just to make sure that we are executing our trades closer to the SMA. So here you can notice that there is a huge gap of the current value and then the SMA value, and we don't want the trades to be executed around that. Rather, if the value is closer, and if maybe shorting somewhere here would have been a better idea. Of course, yeah, even this trade would have been gone is going to go into the loss only, but that's a different issue. Our requirement is that we should be taking trades closer to SMA, and for that we will need to add some calculation blocks as well. So this optimization, as the time is running out for our today's session, we will add the SMA blocks, and then we will do some optimization on tomorrow's session, and there I will show how we can utilize the min max and the SMA to make a better algorithm which will trade as per our requirement, as per our anticipated price action. And also we will do this optimization of the stop loss and target levels, as not every trade goes so far, and more often than not I think trading in currency with a shorter time frame is better if we do it on scalping kind of techniques with stop loss and target price being kept equally sharp, so that the probability is high that we will be making decent amount of money in any trade we take. So that's it from my side for today's webinar session, and I hope you got the idea of how we can make a algorithm simply using these AC accelerator, accelerator, decelerator, oscillator, and then do the necessary optimization, and then just keep it running, and it will trade on its own while we are free to do anything in our spare time. So we will be back tomorrow. Thank you all for joining in. Have a good time. Goodbye.